This project has a lot of interesting facets. I have the luxury of really getting to focus in on the sustainability elements. The LEED Platinum, the Cal Green Tier 2 objectives, those are phenomenal, right? A great commitment, great recognition of how to be a leader in the industry. But what, as an engineer, I find really challenging and much more engaging is this real ambitious goal of getting to zero net energy on site without fuel cells, without fossil fuels backing it up. And I think that's really where this team has worked hard to dig deep, to creatively address the key facets of zero net energy project: load reduction, ultra efficient systems to address those loads, and sufficient renewable energy to achieve that. So I would say, starting out, we've really embraced a lot of the good work that was done by you and HED in the RFP development, really in combing through some of the great ideas that are out there for some of the smaller zero net energy projects that have come before, and the mix of systems that are out there for high performance buildings. So to the greatest extent, we've embraced that. Right? We've got ultra efficient building skin, so windows, walls, roof. We've actually really condensed the floor plate, brought it in from a 2-story to a 3-story office suite, allowing us to have diminished floor plates, get more daylight in there. So that helps towards those goals of reducing loads. We've also really worked with ZGF to help create a shading system that balanced glare control and daylight quantities with the energy reduction that it takes. And so the scheme that you see, the shade louver system, really is targeted to find that right balance of investment and benefit that we get. The next part of zero net energy, really getting after those creative systems, that's where we've had a lot of fun. And as Dave highlights, when he talks about the quality of the data and the holiness of the test side of this, we can't jeopardize that. So we have to be creative within a certain set of confines of how do we get there without impacting that. And so there's some key elements that we've really dived into. Now, the first was recognizing your goal of zero net energy without fuel cells. Right? So we had to find a way to do that on site or to buy green power. But in either case, we dramatically had to reduce the energy even below where it was as part of the RFP. So we've worked hard to do that. What I see is there's some real opportunity for conversation in the next stage of the design to see where usage schedules and the equipment purchasing, really driving your vendors to offer maybe some different enhancements or some features could help reduce that load further. So that'll be a big piece, I think, in the next stage. For now, we've recognized the fuel cells come out of the job. The absorption chillers come out of the job because of that. We no longer have the waste heat from fuel cells. And we looked for a while to try to keep the TES tank in, but what we found, it just wasn't adding a lot of value. And we needed to place those dollars in a different area to really maximize value. So those 3 pieces have come out of the design. And those are pretty fundamental to that zero net energy pathway. As we went to look at how we could get at ultra efficient mechanical systems, how we could drive the energy down even further, we really wanted to start look at the climate, right? Recognizing this is a hot, dry place, and at the same time, looking at the types of loads in the building, right? We have chilled beams already in the building that were running with 57-degree chill water. We had 42-degree chill water everywhere else. And when you look at the types of loads, in the bulk of the loads that really exist in the test cell, there's a lot of time where you don't need that high quality 42-degree chill water. You could use a lower quality, so lower entropy, 57-degree water in a widespread way. And so when we began to see those 2 things align up, we stepped back and said, well, knowing that this climate is dry, a lot of times at night it's cool, but even during the day, there's seasons where it's cool, but it is so dry that cooling towers and evaporative coolers actually do significantly well. We're able to generate that 57-degree water for majority of the year. So we can get free chilled water, other than some fan power and some water, but no more water than we use in a cooling tower. We're able to meet those loads, right? So it's thinking a little bit about the process and how we take a low energy approach to that. And I think that solution is going to serve us well, really to expand the extent of that. We've added coils in these other air handling units. So we've taken not just the chill beams, we're applying those in the office as well, but we've expanded that chill water distribution to almost all of the air handling units as a preconditioning coil or as the primary chill water coil. And that makes a significant dent. So I think that what we're excited about is the fact that we are on right at the verge, right on the cusp of achieving on-site zero net energy. Right? We've done a lot, in kind of on our own. Right? We've had these one-on-ones, but a lot of it's been us trying to find these solutions that work. There's some things that we definitely see we can begin to get after in the next phase of the project. Right? So there are some things that we just couldn't take credit for. Because of the rules of the competition, right? You need a common means to evaluate. But I think when we begin to be able to have some collaboration, begin to say, yeah, you guys are already doing this in your facilities. We could do that here. We could show that credit. We think there's some real opportunity to fine-tune the operation and save energy. And I also see an opportunity for us to work together to press on the vendors, right? To say, we need low energy modes. We need setback modes on this equipment. You guys are setting the bar for this type of facility, for the complexity. You have a lot of leverage with these vendors, and I think if we can push on them a little bit, and again, if you can get the loads down, right? We need less heating and cooling and electricity to offset that, right? So that means less renewables, and so I am, ecstatic, and recognize we've saved over 20% energy beyond the high performance building that was in the RFP. And in doing so, we are at a position to achieve zero net energy on site. And I think with some of the steps I just mentioned, get to a point where we can even begin to generate excess, and meet the needs of some of your EV charging. I know that was, part of your vision, part of the big goal that you had. And we're excited to try to get there with you. And again, in this next phase, I think there are some steps we can definitely take to press into that territory.
Whoa, time out, Paul, time out. Hey, everybody, Steve again. Had to interrupt Paul real fast. We've done it. Over the last couple of days, as we turn this proposal over to you guys, we've actually achieved true net zero energy for your facility. We're not buying power from anybody. This is great news. It wouldn't have happened without the collaboration with you all and our one-on-ones with Paul and our entire team. So we're anxious to see you on November 8th, where we get to show you our final presentation. So until then, I'll let Paul continue. Hope you enjoy the videos and enjoy our proposal. Thank you, guys.
And for you to be able to then demonstrate it to the community, to the region, to the world, that you have achieved this for a facility like this.